Welcome to the SBP Podcast, the voice of mobile film. I'm your host, Susie Botello, and this is episode 56. This year's International Mobile Film Festival was a real blast. Our theme this year was stories. And of course, that's what it was about. There is a lot to be told about our film festival this year, and we have to thank everyone who was able to come out and be a part of it because you really helped make it special for everyone. There was a mix of films. There were narrative films, documentaries, musical, experimental, what we call freaky films, and more. We selected one film to feature our Community Stories program, and that was The Deepest Cut by Alexandra Gillisu. Our guest of honor from the Global Mobile Film Awards was Matteo Tibiletti, who won a Best Experimental Award at the Global Mobile Film Awards with his film Yes, No last year. Brian Hennings, who also won an award for Best Cinematography with his film Focus at GMFA last year, formed a judging panel with Matteo, which we actually invited them to do that, by the way. They together selected one film from the shorts competition from one filmmaker who was actually present and attending here in San Diego. That film that was awarded was The Deepest Cut by Alexandra Gillisu. And so Matteo presented the honorary award during the award ceremony to Alexandra. Matteo came all the way from Italy to do that, but he also shared a brief presentation of his latest project on Saturday. So we also have to thank a few other people. We have to thank Anthony Montes. He was one of the short film competition judges, and he came up from LA. He was a guest on our podcast in episode 43, where as an acting coach, he shares his push for actors to make films with iPhones. It was really great having him in the film festival, talking with filmmakers and definitely interacting with everyone during the Q&A sessions. Our VIP guest speaker, John Woosley, came up from Missouri to share a very well-received film and workshop seminar. His film, Alex and the Firefly, delighted everyone, and he followed that with an interactive instruction on filmmaking with your smartphone from the idea through to the completion. He performed a demo with attending filmmakers Ross Perkins and C.K. Golding on how to use some of the basic features of Filmic Pro. There was a Q&A afterwards, and wow, seriously, everyone came out a winner on that one. John's participation in our film festival is very much appreciated. And speaking of CK, he is our second VIP guest speaker. C.K. Golding really hit it home with his viral film 61 Hugs. This was the first U.S. screening of the film. If you have not seen it, then come back for our next episode 57, where we will talk with C.K. The film left everyone feeling warm and fuzzy, and there were many smiles in the room. When we came out to share the Q&A about his film, mainly C.K. came out, it was a very profound experience for everyone in the room. Many of the attendees, the filmmakers and people who were there just to experience the film festival, they went on to share the film on their social media after his presentation. So, it really did have quite an impact on everyone. CK came from Sheffield in the UK. Now, both John and CK's presentation was presented by our Mobilize Stories Community Network for Mobile Filmmaking. Then we had a Q&A panel with all the filmmakers. We had the red carpet extravaganza with Star Wars Steampunk Universe escorting all the filmmakers. And then we had the awards ceremony. But the thing is that there were screams and cheering, and it was an amazing Sunday. And I'll tell you right now, everyone in the entire Marina Village could hear what was going on. I kid you not. Our feature film competition this year brought two films over 1 hour and 20 minutes in length, each film. Consensus Reality by Steve Peterson was shot with a Samsung phone, And Madhouse by Ross Perkins was shot with an iPhone. Want to say congratulations now to the Best Feature Film winner, Ross Perkins, for his film Madhouse. In the shorts competition, there were 29 films accepted and screened in San Diego. The winner for first place was Append by Blake Worrell. The second place went to The Deepest Cut by Alexandra Gillisu. And the third prize went to Dulcinea by Francisco Lidón Plaza. Congratulations to all of you from the International Mobile Film Festival here in San Diego. Indiana Filmmakers Network partnered with Mobilize Stories to present a handful of short films from Indiana shot with smartphones. They held a Hoosiers-only contest and brought the films to San Diego, and it was presented by Mobilize Stories during the film festival. Now, everyone loved the films. Of course, that includes us, and we hope that some of the filmmakers will actually submit these films for next year's film festival in 2020. Indiana Filmmakers Network is also our fiscal sponsor, and we thought that since their president, Nathan Bechtold, came out to San Diego, this would be a perfect opportunity to sit down and discuss how their organization can help not only filmmakers in their state, but mobile filmmakers, even those who are passing through and wish to make a film while in Indiana. With you in mind, we discuss IFN and mobile film with Nathan. Let's get started. Hey everybody, welcome to the SBP Podcast in the voice of mobile film. I am here with one of our sponsors from this year's film festival, and to be honest, more years of film festivals here in San Diego, of the International Mobile Film Festival. It is Tuesday when we're recording this, and we just finished the film festival on Sunday. And our guest is getting ready to get back to the airport, so we thought we'd do a quick podcast and share his story for you listeners and a little recap on the film festival. So I now introduce you to Nathan Bechtold, the president of Indiana Filmmakers Network. Nathan?
Hi, everybody. How you doing? Thanks for having me, Susie.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'd like to share with our listeners, because this is a resource that can be available to you, even if, not all mobile filmmakers just want to do mobile films. So I'd like for you to introduce a little bit about yourself and, Indiana Filmmakers Network.
Oh, well, my name is Nathan Bechtold. I grew up in a small little rural town in the middle of nowhere. Seriously. The Indiana Filmmakers Network has been around for about 20 years, and about 11 years ago, I joined the board, the state board. Basically, it started as a bunch of professionals getting together in Indianapolis, Indiana, to talk shop after work, to de-stress, complain, and gossip about other things. And sometimes they had workshops and they went around. But then things kind of coalesced. It was actually started by Jane Rulon, who was the film commissioner of Indiana at the time. And about 11 years ago, I got involved with some good friends of mine from Inverted Staircase Productions, and we kind of took over. And I started the first hub outside of Indianapolis, and we, with Kate Chaplin and Tom Johnson and Nate Savage, shout out to those guys, we wound up working a partnership with Goodrich Quality Theaters in Noblesville, and that's been our home for 11 years. Every month, besides December, for the past 11 years, we've had free monthly meetings, all indicative of film and the creative arts. Every month is something different. So we talk about script and screenwriting, hair, makeup, design, production. We work with this small business administration, SCORE, how to set up an LLC. We do business financing sometimes. We talk about, sometimes people don't understand how that might correlate. But if you as a creator, can't get your own house in order and know how to do finances and stuff, it's not going to help you when you're trying to budget a film. Mm-hmm. You know, we do mindfulness. In Lafayette, where I'm from our meetings, I've done a lot of mindfulness and business mindfulness meetings, kind of spiritual sometimes. But what we really talk about is getting your heads in the right space to understand if you can take care of your own personal finances in life, then you can obviously, hopefully, do your own business and and control as a director or a filmmaker to control your product, your brand, who you are, things like that. So we're all about goal setting and branding and helping creatives learn. It's kind of grassroots in a sense, and we have a lot of people in the Midwest who, start in the garage. I have a lot of friends who have production houses where they're not like necessarily legitimate production houses. Like, I started that way too, but then I learned to get an LLC.
Didn't Steve Jobs start out that way?
Oh, yes. It's a name, but it's getting ourselves out there, and then you kind of like fake it till you make it.
Mm-hmm. Well,
well, kind of.
Yeah, I mean,
you don't want to fake it forever, but you put on your best foot forward, a good face. And there's some people who don't. And then we work with professionals, of course, around the state. And what we do now, since over the 11 years, myself and some others, James Wallace Jr. and Jared Moishner from Tropical Squirrel Productions took over the state, and we became a non-for-profit about maybe 4 years ago. Changed gears a bit. We have 8 hubs across the state of Indiana and 6 affiliate hubs that we work with from not just in Indiana, but around our region, from Chicago to South Bend, Indiana, with Mid-America Filmmakers and Mid-Ohio Filmmakers and Louisville Filmmakers and Owensboro, Kentucky Filmmakers and Illinois Filmmakers. So we work.
So you took over Indiana, basically, right?
Well, yes, but we do not. We're not going to take over. If someone's doing something right, if someone's doing an acting workshop group, or they're doing their own workshops, we're not going to be like, well, we got to be an IFN thing. No. We want to support them and promote them, and hopefully they'll work with us. I mean, that doesn't always work. They want to do their own thing, but we want to bring eyes to them, because we want to see them succeed too. Yeah,
collaborative relationships have been going on, and they became really more popular after 2010 than ever before. Because I remember when I used to say to people about the film festival, let's partner up somehow. People were like, "No, it's my business," and I'm like, "Oh no, that's not what I meant." Yep. But now most of the time it's changed. Now when people say let's partner up, no one thinks that you're trying to become a business partner, but a collaborative partner.
I would hope that more people actually start realizing that it's mutually beneficial.
Yeah.
I mean, we do still have people who just want to do their own thing. They kind of think inside the box on that. I don't know if it's a Midwest thing.
And sometimes those benefits come a little later for one than the other. It's part of, because if both businesses are doing great, then they really don't see a reason to collaborate.
Yeah,
because
that's
then
true,
we don't really need each other. We're fine, even though it's still good for the community.
Yeah, it's very good. Even if you're doing fine and doing well, can't we do better?
Right, exactly.
That's kind of the goal, and especially with Indiana, we don't have a tax incentive program.
Yeah.
Indianapolis has a tax incentive program. Gary has a tax incentive for the cities.
But not as a state.
Right. And, we're sorely lacking on a lot of regards. What IFN tries to convey is that even though we lack in certain things, because creatives want to go to Atlanta or Chicago or LA or wherever or New York to film,
right?
And it's a grass is greener mentality. I can't do anything here. Well, that's not necessarily true in Indiana. You can actually do more because there's less, if that makes sense. So we work directly with SAG-AFTRA from Chicago. That's the Screen Actors Guild and American Federation Television Radio. They're wonderful up in Chicago. I can't talk more highly of them. And we work directly with them about contracts and how to protect actors and filmmakers. Not join the union per se. They don't force anybody. But how to do it properly. How to protect your crew, your cast, and yourself. We talk with we have IP lawyers talk about intellectual property rights and how to do that, distribution deals for streaming and stuff that's more lucrative in the Midwest. But we also work with our tourism board, which is kind of the film coalition for Indiana. It's Film Indiana, but it's also Visit Indiana, or homegrown Hoosier goodness stuff that we're talking about. And
Hoosiers is the the official name for
Hoosiers.
People from Indiana.
Yeah. Hoosiers, yes.
I do want to take a moment to mention someone here who will probably be listening to this podcast. His name is Joe.
Hey, Joe. How you doing?
Will you give him a little shout-out
and
his printing company?
Joe Lavelle and his lovely wife are printers for IFN, and they work with our IFN members. We do have a paid membership. It's $20 for the annual fee. It helps our overhead and a whole bunch of stuff. We are a non-for-profit, but that doesn't mean we get grants like we want. And so it's Joe and his company, Lavelle Printing. We think very highly of him. But as a fiscal sponsor for Susie for the International Mobile Film Festival and working with Joe, we were able to get wonderful banners, beautiful, gorgeous banners, great printables, great cards, badges made. And huge shout out to Joe. So thank you, Joe, for everything that you do. He is a really good filmmaker and a cinematographer, really.
Yeah, and I know he wanted to come
amazing artist, too. Amazing artist.
Oh,
maybe I'll talk him into coming next year.
Yeah. No, he wants to.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Great.
He wanted
Joe,
to be
come
here
out
this
with
year.
me. We'll make a trip out of it.
Yeah.
I know a great car place.
I wanted to share. I wanted you to share. So, just for very quickly, the filmmakers or prospective filmmakers that are listening to our podcast, and maybe you are shooting it with a phone or whatever. I think one of the things that you could do for them, regardless of what camera they're using, for mobile filmmakers, if you're out anywhere in the state of Indiana, you can connect them to people that can help them find locations and resources and some crew members.
Well, that's exactly what IFN's about, especially for those who's starting. I wish more would take advantage of that. We have multiple hubs, like I said earlier, and we have a great online presence, but people like to use the social media format, but they don't come to the meetings to network and in person and really get to know people and engage. I don't know. I mean, in the past, it was totally different. We'd fill rooms, and certain subjects will. Like, again, we have different professional guest speakers come in and talk about things. We have major heavy hitters come in. And, that's wonderful when we can pack a room, 50, 60 people. That's great. But, it's one of I get on my high horse about this. See, if you're an actor, this is for your area too. I'm not just talking about Indiana, but I'm talking Indiana centric. There are great film workshops and meetups and things like that may or may not be free or cost or anything, but take advantage of them. Don't think you have to go someplace else. Just really look around your area, and maybe you might have to drive an hour or two. And God knows you have to do that, but it's worth it.
One of the benefits of mobile filmmaking is the fact that it's on your phone.
It's there. You have it.
It's your phone. And you can attach the professional filmmaking equipment to it. You don't have to buy everything just
and it's
for
cost effective now. It's in the more. I think in a couple of years it'll be even more cost effective.
Yes.
There's great plug-in, great add-ons, and like even at your festival that we just met some wonderful people.
Yeah, let's give him a shout out too. Free Vision Tech. And we want to also thank Matt Huang for coming out and showing everyone the gimbals. We may still be able to work out a promo deal with him. I think, actually you might just want to try it out and just go to the website and our website, the internationalmobilefilmfestival.com, and look at them on the collaborators page. And click there and enter the promo code SUSY, because that's me, Susie. And you may be able to still get a 10% discount off your entire order. So, and they're great. I love partnering up with them. I've met them in person. I've met him in person. We just met a couple couple of months ago.
And they're cost effective. There's
yes,
no real.
There's
you
three
might have to
versions
save a little bit, but they're
of,
really nice.
Yes, and that's my thing. When I meet people in person, I've worked with them, and I can see, the customer service from them and all that is fantastic. So that's why I can do that. So yes, I can highly say that this is a partnership, affiliation, whatever you want to call it, and that's beneficial to. I've never done that before, but it's very beneficial to the filmmakers. But what I'm trying to say is that if someone happens to travel with their phone, they happen to find themselves anywhere in Indiana.
Film it.
Well, they can get in contact with you.
Oh yes, please do.
And find some resources wherever they happen to be.
Yeah,
and
if
hook
you
up
know
with,
if you have any friends or if you know family or anybody in Indiana, have them go to indianafilmmakers.org.
Yeah.
And they can reach out to us, and I will probably answer. But no, I will answer in due time. And we have, like I said, hubs across the state, and we have affiliate hubs, and we do workshops at libraries, and we do kids programs, and there's a lot that we want to do. There's a lot more we would like to do, but we're spread thin.
So for people just traveling through, they can contact you and say, I happen to have my phone. I'm going to be here for a week.
Wonderful.
And, it doesn't take long to film.
Yeah. Plus, on our website, there's a at the very end of the very top menu, there's a thing called resources. So we have, of course, back to Joe Lavelle Printing is up there for members' resource, but we also have links for tourism and different regions across Indiana that you can work with, like tourism for maybe places to film.
Cool.
Parks, state parks, or historical landmarks, or just mom and pop shops that are just really cool in an area you might be staying in, B&Bs, Airbnbs, and stuff like that. We have a list of that, or actually have a link to lists of that. So yeah.
we also wanted you to share with our listeners your experience at the International Mobile Film Festival, because you did come.
I did.
So a lot of times I do these things, in Skype, and people haven't met us, they haven't been to the event. Listeners, everybody who's subscribing right now, I just have to tell you that I am still overwhelmed. I don't even know how to express how happy I am at the way everything turned out.
Oh, it's fantastic.
All the compliments from the filmmakers and everything, they're still trying to sink in on me. They always do compliment me, but this one, this year, it wasn't just about the compliments. It was the complete reaction, the cheering and the clapping and the, people
the
rushing
red
up
carpet.
to me and saying, I really enjoyed that film. I really loved this. And there was that guy from Temecula who came with his mom.
Oh, he was
in
good.
High school.
Good kid.
And he came just to kind of check it out on Saturday, and he came back on Sunday, and he did a little interview with me outside with his phone and everything, and he was inspired, So I wanted you to share with people a little bit about your experience.
Well,
there
let
and
me
the people.
just say, the night before on Friday, I was at Purdue University for the Student Film Festival, and I did a little thing for some other stuff at Purdue, and then I got on a plane and flew straight here and got in my car and drove directly to the International Mobile Film Festival Saturday morning. Just go, and then I was up all day, and then all through Sunday, and it's an amazing experience. And when I get home, I'll be at the Riverbend Film Festival doing panels this coming weekend, actually in 2 days.
Hopefully you'll take a nap.
Maybe on Thursday. I think that's my nap day, like 15 minutes. I think I got that scheduled. But anyways, but yeah, it was go. But, it was so engaging, and everybody was just wonderful and open. You're there to see the art, but you're good. It's great to have the artist there, and to understand what goes into the art.
And so many were there this year.
Fantastic. So we had, people from the Ukraine and Sydney, Australia, and New Zealand, and the UK, and Indiana,
and Italy,
Cincinnati, Italy. It was fantastic, and I got to engage some locals who came to watch the films. Were just flabbergasted. We're just taken aback. They're like, "Wow, this is amazing!"
We did have a few San Diego filmmakers too, and even a couple of them that actually, or one of them that was traveling. Payson Stevens. I'm just going to give him a shout out. He's on his way. I believe he's leaving on Thursday to go, which is 2 days from now. By the time our listeners listen to this may be a little too late, but they're going to India. They got here from I forgot where. I mean, it's just amazing. They live here half the year. And he submitted a film, and he came over for the Q&A and everything. And it's just such an impressing... It was like a jubilee, almost, of different types of films and the artists, the creators. And we had C.K. Golding and his film 61 Hugs. We had John Woosley, with his incredible interactive workshop as well. And what was your overall impression on the energy that was going on?
Oh, it's constant. I mean, that's when I got here, it's just like right away. It's just energy. I mean, happy. Everybody was like, it's like you knew everybody. I know some people. I've met Susie. I know, Neil. I love Neil.
Maybe we should talk a little bit about that, about how we met.
Way back in last year. Anyway.
Last summer.
Yeah. There was... Indiana Filmmakers Network helped with Heartland International Film Festival to run some panels and do some stuff with the indie shorts. Heartland's great, good people, and really enjoyed being part of that. And met some wonderful people who I actually got to see again at the International Mobile Film Festival. And, Susie and I we hit it off. We had a great time. We talked all day. It was really nice. She did a wonderful workshop. Unfortunately, I couldn't make your workshop because I was in another workshop thing that was going on that we were putting on. But we wound up hanging out the whole rest of the day and had a great time and just connected. We shared a lot of same sensibilities, and I really believe that mobile film devices and stuff, especially for kids and those who are learning, I mean, there's no excuse. The art is in your hand. I mean, it's more readily available than you can ever imagine. And I've seen some truly spectacular films done on phones. It's just insane. So we do workshops and we do stuff like that on mobile devices. And so Susie and I were talking about how can we help and be involved. And we were fiscal sponsors. We helped with a few things like printing with Joe and do some other sponsor work and promotionals and
you have the Mobilize Stories
and Mobilize Stories. And then what we wound up doing, it was she had already booked everything for her film festival, but we got involved and we did a statewide 3-minute or less mobile film challenge, which we definitely are going to do again next year, and we'll make it longer and a little more heavy-headed. But I was surprised. We had 20 days because I wanted to do it right before I came out here, and from April 1st to basically the 20th or 21st, and we had quite a few good submissions, right? But a few people send in some extra long films, which I'm like, it's 3 minutes or less. I don't quite understand why you're sending me a 20-minute long video. I literally had one person ask me if I could just cut it. I mean, like, to cut your film to 3 minutes? I don't understand that, but okay. And then we had some very adult themed when it said family friendly right on the thing. So obviously we had to cut, and for time we had to cut a few. But we had 9 submissions that I wound up bringing with me out of the 16 or 17 that actually that was submitted. I was really happy with that for, throwing it together in a sense, and we'll do better next year.
So you're now you and IFN.
Oh, I'm stuck. We're stuck now.
They're now new members of the Mobilize Stories. That's a hashtag, by the way. Network community, which is what we are, and we'd like to have now we can do the hashtag Mobilize Stories hashtag Indiana, and help support filmmakers, using and people who are just plain dreaming of creating videos and films. And they might as well just pick up their phone and do it.
Oh, true. I mean, like you said, I'm sure you've said on your podcast, at the Mobile Film Festival. There's a lovely lady who's 87 years old who's making...
84.
Oh, 84. I'm so sorry. 84. still, she's
Yeah.
of a wonderful age.
Mickey Harrison.
And she's a lovely lady. And so, there's no excuse. And we had a nice young, a very bright kid who
19-year-old
was 19.
Seth Dacio.
So, I mean, just go out and make
Both
it.
of those are actually from San Diego.
But that's
which
amazing.
is pretty cool.
Yeah, but
we
see,
also
there's no
had
age limit. That's what I'm
Dania
saying.
Elliott was from your area, almost.
Yes.
She was very close. Well, she was a volunteer at Indie Shorts there in
she's from
Indianapolis.
Cincinnati area.
Yes, and she happened to come and be a part of the workshop on mobile filmmaking that I was, and that was actually Mobilized Stories as well. And so she sent in her film, submitted it, waited through everything, the entire process, and then when her film was accepted, she emails me and says, "Oh, and by the way, I met you, and I was like, "Oh my God, I had no idea."
That's how she got in. No, I'm kidding. It's not.
And there was Joyce Axelrod,
Oh,
who's
Joyce,
the founder
lovely lady. Yes.
of the San Diego Jewish Film Festival here, who's had a film festival for, I think it's 26, 27, 28 years. I can't remember off the top of my head right now. And she's the founder of a film festival, and it's a huge film festival here in San Diego.
Yeah, she took time and submitted a wonderful film.
Yes, and she made a film with
It's
her
really
phone.
nice to see a film festival director actually do a film, and
well, a founder,
a founder,
yeah.
It's nice because I get criticized sometimes for people because I do a lot of freelance. What I do for a living is I write studio reviews for upcoming films, and I could sit at home and I get paid and whatever. But I do a lot of freelance because it's more time fulfilling for me. I can get it done, and if it's not I get my job done. I've done my part, and they're the ones who have to finish it. If I'm doing my own projects, that's time consuming. So,
and especially,
but I get criticized I don't do enough films anymore.
Especially a founder or a film director from a traditional film festival to go ahead and grab their phone and make a mobile film. I'm interested in that. I'd like to set that as a challenge out there. If you're listening and you happen to be you
hear that, Craig Prater? I challenge you.
That's right.
President of Heartland, by the way.
Right.
Make a film. Make a film of Heartland.
He's a good friend. He's a big supporter of mobile film. He's been a judge in our film festival several times as well, and being in attendance of our film festival. He was here in 2014, and he was in it also in 2016, actually, as well. So we're giving a lot of shout outs here, but
we're name droppers.
There was also
well deserved, every one of them.
Yeah, there's so much that happened at the film festival. I mean, we did have the workshop. We had the speakers. What did you think about the red carpet extravaganza?
Love the red carpet. Now, you know what? I will say, thank you to the Star Wars
Steampunk universe.
Oh, great. They're awesome. Dude Vader's great. But, it wouldn't be the same without him. But, the scene stealers are the filmmakers. They just stole it. They stole every scene. And they did something out of the box. They were just having fun with it and really enjoyed it. It's not your traditional red carpet in a sense. They were really just owning it and having fun and being in their element, and fantastic. So you'll see pictures. Pictures are posted on there, and I took many pictures myself, so I'll be posting them when I get back to Indiana.
We'll put a couple
Wi-Fi.
of them on this because I write articles when I do the
podcast
please do,
as
well. So
but
we'll
it was fantastic. Lots of laughs, and the awards ceremony was very nice too. Yeah. I was very humbled and welcomed a certificate from International Mobile Film Festival for Indiana Filmmakers Network. It was
you know
wonderful.
what? Actually, I was surprised at all the excitement because people were tired. It's a 2-day film festival,
it's long.
And people connect, and then they go out after the film festival, and they're up, and most of the people, not by force, right? But they chose to, get a couple hours sleep.
Well, it's like going to a convention or anything. You're there, and you kind of don't want to miss anything.
Right.
I had to step out a couple times, but I regret that because I really
missed on a few
I was
things,
jet lag.
Yeah, yeah.
But you know what I tried. So but that's the thing. You don't want to miss out, and the people there. Film festivals are really good. All film festivals, I say, are good at networking and talking as long as you engage and stuff. But some film festivals more than other are just friendly, family. You get that, it's just comfortable. And this particular one is much like that. So you have people from all over the place, all over the world, and yet there might be a language barrier sometimes or culture barrier, but no, I mean, it's like you knew them. I mean, everybody was like you know them. So, and I've made friends that I know I'm going to have for a very long time.
Well,
so, yeah.
one of the things that was evident, because I connect with them personally, throughout the whole process of from film submission to that.
I don't think she ever sleeps, to be honest.
So we had a lot of back and forth communication already, and you get to really get to know people that way. It's not like, the founder just or the film festival, some person just emails me and things like that. So we've had these conversations. I also, do some podcasts when the time is perfect. I try to do one once a week. And sometimes it's people who are coming to the film festival. So there's that there. And so some of the people know me. Some have never met me before. They really don't know what to expect. But because there's so much connection already, it's almost like, hey, it's like family that you're going to that you don't know all the members, but they're having a big reunion. And
actually, this is different. I've had family reunions where I don't know cousins, and I'm like, and we just sit on the other side, and they stick in their, like, hi, how you doing? Just wave at them, hi, eat your, potato salad, and look the other way. But no, not here. I mean, we were hugging and.
Yeah,
I think I hugged people right away. But like, I don't know you. Hey,
yeah.
So it was a little different, and I really appreciate that. I love that. It is, and how sometimes you guys have regulars, but then you also have new people, and it's very welcoming. So even if you're a regular or you're just coming in, it's just so welcoming. The people who are coming in with the tickets are like, hey, come on in, join us, yay, the water's fine. But no, it was very welcoming. So don't be like, oh my God, what are these people doing when you walk in?
Well, and some people, nice. We're talking about the art community and filmmakers and things like that. And there are people that are extroverts and there are people that are introverts. And some people that come alone and they're like, I don't know, they don't know how comfortable they're going to be and if they're going to really participate. Yeah. Well, look, every single filmmaker, if you would have watched the red carpet, something happened.
Even the introverts got out of their little comfort zones.
They did. I'm thinking about Steve Peterson, who is more of a quiet guy and everything. And he's the one that he's the other feature filmmaker.
Kudos to Steve. He drove me around a little bit afterwards. So
that was my magical moment there. Well, there were thousands of magical moments.
He came down from L.A.
L.A., yeah. Consensus Reality was the name of his film. But the really cool thing was to watch the groups of people connecting with each other and making lifelong friends. Like you could tell by the way that they were connecting.
Oh, and I hope to work on some projects too. I mean, it's funny. So I was talking to Ross and Kimberly from Australia.
So Ross Perkins won the best feature. Oh yeah. The film is called Madhouse.
Very good.
Yeah. And
all of them were very good. But
and you know what I didn't realize, and maybe it was mentioned before and it escaped me, but this was the premiere.
Basically, right? Well, we want to call it that? But it was he's going to do another. I think he's going to go back and do a different cut, just arrange a few things. But this was the first public showing of that. So
he said even some of his actors haven't seen it
his
yet.
His cast and crew and some of his actors haven't seen it yet. They will, though.
Almost a private showing, even.
Yeah.
It was like the very first showing.
I feel honored with that because it was very, very well done. It was well thought out. They filmed, I think, and if I get this wrong, forgive me, Ross and Kim, but I think it was 13 days they filmed over and maybe some pickup shots, and he took about a year to edit and add all the bells and whistles. But and that's some dedication, and it's a great film.
The acting was superb.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And Ross is an actor.
Fantastic.
Ross is an actor, and a lot of the
But he was smart, because if you like in certain areas, if you're as an actor, you can't get, not representation, but if you're not getting the work that you want to get, and you're like, I need to get my acting chops on, he took the initiative by making a film, putting himself in it, and getting himself out there so people can see what he can do, and he can do it well, very well. And he's a darn good filmmaker as well. So kudos to them. I think Kim really stepped up as like a production manager and working on that aspect. It was a very solid film. All of them were very good this year. I mean, I was just totally blown away. I mean, hopefully all the film festivals I'm going to go through the course of the year are going to give me some blown away films. But
I'm going to give a quick shout out to the other winners. For first place was Blake Worrell with his film Append. Second place was Alexandra Gillisu with
another
her
amazing
film The Deepest
film.
Cut.
Yes.
And the third place went to Spain, basically. Francisco Lidon Plaza, I think was his last name. And I'm going off of these off the top of my head. We will list them in the article as well.
Seriously, great films. I mean, it's really hard to say. You know, I'm not trying to say one's better than another. It's not that uniquely themselves are just capable and artistically wonderful.
And
films,
Anthony Montes that came out.
Oh, yeah.
He's one of the judges. He's he works in New York and L.A. He was scheduled to go and teach acting in San Francisco the very next morning, but he stayed through.
He did. It's great networking with him too.
It was a fantastic experience, and I will say that a lot of people were touched by Alexandra's The Deepest Cut.
And she came from St. Louis. Her family came out from St. Louis, which is kind of my neighbors, not too far away. I can about a 3 or 4 hour drive, and I highly encourage her to submit to some Indiana filmmakers.
We are all one big happy family.
Film festivals, and wonderful people. I really did feel. I mean, it was kind of crazy. It's kind of like almost serendipitous. All how a connection. CK was his film's a little bit about looking left and how it can change something and getting out of your comfort zone and meeting people and the domino effect of that. I mean, I'm not trying to get uber cosmic with anybody on here, but if you go out and you actually put yourself out there, it's kind of the will to power, as it were. If you just
we need to be ourselves more. Yeah. To be that, and I'm just going to share my opinion.
When you are afraid, sometimes that's showing you that you're going in the right direction. I mean, not if you get that gut feeling like, oh my God, but if you just anxious about putting yourself out there, that's kind of the thing that says you should. So get out of your comfort zones as much as you can, and get yourself out there, meet people, and just find your bliss.
And if you don't like doing that, I mean, the thing about it is we're all human. We all have stories. We are storytellers by nature in one way or another.
Well, we're telling a story as we live them.
Exactly. So this is a perfect form for doing that. And you have the camera in your pocket. And so,
there's no excuse. I mean, even if you have a crappy flip phone, we'll watch that movie.
You can make something very experimental with that. It's been done. It
has been done, yes.
There's a lot of people that I'd like to give a shout out. But how about we just give a shout out to all our sponsors, including, just to conclude this session.
Oh, yeah, I know this great sponsor called Indiana Filmmakers Network. It's this thing from the state called Indiana. It's crazy. This weird guy runs it. It's messed up.
There's also Neil and Jana.
Real fast, so before we go into that, I want to say for the Indiana filmmakers and all those the hub leaders and the people who help us in our state, thank you. Most sincerely, thank you for supporting the cinematic arts and creativity, not just in Indiana, but all around. This goes out to every listener. There's no excuse. Go out, make your art. I don't care if it's film. I don't care if it's painting or poetry or whatever it may be. Go out and do it. Don't be afraid. So that's my little 2 cents there.
The one thing about filmmaking, I have to say, because we keep saying that in this industry, just do it. Just do it. But it's not like a live film where like you do it.
It's hard to go out and say I'm going to get a red camera with my pocket lens.
My point
is
exactly that you have a phone that you can actually do it. And if you don't like what you did, no one's seen it. So there are no regrets. Yep. The only regret there is that you haven't even tried.
No regrets.
Right?
Yes.
So I do want to give a shout out to Neil
and
Jana Halford from Swords and Circuitry Studios and their production of Uncharted Regions for also all their support. All their audio and video support throughout the entire film festival and everything. I do want to also give a shout out to Red Giant, who's been a sponsor for us. They're a software company, very popular. If you haven't heard from them, I'd be surprised. They've been supporting and sponsoring for since before our first film festival. And Film Convert for color grading and grain, also a software company. Let me see. There's also Black Box Global. I'm going off of these from the top of my head, so I'm trying to not forget anybody. Black Box Global, they're in Canada. And there is Grip and Shoot and Hall H Show podcast.
Yeah.
And the Star Wars Steampunk Universe. I really, really want to thank all our sponsors for this year's film festival.
And your great photographers. Man, yes. I had a ball with them. They're two good guys. I was really...
Yes, Dean Curry and Arturo Vasquez.
Great guys.
From Art Essence Photography. He was phenomenal too. Yeah, you are so correct. There's so many people that I want to give a shout out to, but I can't because we're running out of time, and there's nothing more like some dramatic romantic film than having the guy having to rush through the airport terminal to make that airplane.
I don't have... Well, I guess my romance would be my cat on the other end, because my parents have been home-sitting her and she's just not having it. She's a poor kid. I love my girl.
I know. You got a cat, I got a dog. But mine is in town. Any last words?
No, well, I'm getting on a plane. Hopefully there's not my last words. But for this, I just want to thank everybody, and want to thank Susie and the International Mobile Film Festival for having me here, having IFN here. And I'm looking forward to what we can do in the future. I know that we'd like to do some more mobile film festival or film challenges in Indiana, and if we can get that organized, that'd be great, especially with universities and high schools and stuff like that. There's some great studios that are actually been doing mobile film workshops in Indiana, so that's awesome. Huge kudos to them. I just it's been an interesting weekend. Let's just put it that way. I really like San Diego. I come out here for San Diego Comic-Con, but it's been a minute, so I had to get my In-N-Out burger and stuff. But and get a few things here. But thanks to Susie for putting up with me, and Neil and I were really giving her a hard time. They make me go a little insane. But you can watch our lovely videos, however. And I'm just very grateful that I was able to come out and get my schedule straight. Huge kudos to everybody back home who work really hard in their respective arts, and for IFN, all the hub leaders and state reps and hub support. Because without the people who are willing to give back to help themselves and help their communities, there would be nothing. So for all those who help with volunteer for your local community, for anyone, veterans or the homeless or anything that you do, thank you for contributing to your communities and for others. I find it very beneficial to myself and the people I meet. So much like the mobilized stories, we all have stories. Yeah. And I love people. I love individuals. I always say, don't be a people, always be a person. Mm-hmm. Be an individual, because people suck. But people in mass, we're not that good. But individuals, golden. Yeah. Purely golden. We are all artists. We are all creatives. Even if you don't find it in yourself, you think you don't have it. My mom used to say, I don't have these kinds of things, but she is so creative. And you just got to find what your passions are. Or what you may be bad at or good at.
Well, I believe stories connect people.
True.
And if we can make individuals better people, then in mass, we won't. No one will say people won't say people suck. Yeah. People will say, you know what, we love people, instead, because we reflect on the individualism of each other, and we respect that through our stories.
Yeah, I mean, I've worked really hard with IFN, and I'm very proud of it. I'm very proud of the people who have made it what it is beyond me. because I'm only one person in a large cog. So I'm not taking credit for other people's work. They've done a great deal and a great service for the state of Indiana and beyond. So thank you to all of them. And we're just trying to keep it going and do better.
We had a wonderful weekend. It was sunny. It was beautiful. We had some overcast, nice. Adding texture to our Instagram photos and all that. But then, Monday and Tuesday, it was like the rain was holding out. It was like, you know what, we got to let this out. So I'm thankful to the weather.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can give a shout out to the weather for being nice during the...
Don't follow me home.
It's been nice for a few months, and then all of a sudden the film festival ended and it was like, you know what, we can't do this anymore. And it's been a rainy day here and it's actually kind of nice, and we need it. Because we've had beautiful landscapes here in San Diego for our guests who came from other places. I know Matteo Tibiletti and Emanuela, his wife, they went to Borrego Springs and they caught, the beauty of our blooming desert flowers and everything out there. And then they went to the beach in La Jolla and, they've had a really great time. And they presented that award from Brian Hennings and him, who won Global Mobile Film Awards, and the winner of that honorary award was Alexandra Gillisu for her film The Deepest Cut. So she actually came out with 2 awards, and I just got to give a shout out to them coming out from Italy, to Matteo and Emanuela for coming out from Italy to do that. That's awesome. And with that, from the SBP podcast here in San Diego, I hope you got to enjoy our wonderful fiscal sponsor, Nathan Bechtold from Indiana. And
I'll sing us out.
Wish him with me that he arrives back there and somehow gets to at least take a nap before he jumps into his other project.
I'm always on the go, and I suffer from insomnia, so we're good.
Yeah. Well, say goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody. Thanks a lot for having me, Susie.
You're welcome. Thank you.